Let's move on to main topic number 3. And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Roudrava, who writes, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, Roudrava, I'm sorry about that. Greetings to all of you from India. Well, thank you for writing from India. Firstly, I want to tell you I love your show. Thank you so much. I'm a big Nolan fan. So I wanted to know, Tenet being the only major movie yet to move its release date, don't you think it would be a good move to postpone the movie till next year, as the November and December slate is already looking too much jam-packed? Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work and stay safe. All right, thanks for sending that in, man. And yes, of course, one of the big movies that everybody's excited about is, of course, Christopher Nolan's new film, Tenet. They already dropped like a behind-the-scenes look. We got to look at a first trailer. Everybody got hyped. Of course, we got the new Batman, Robert Pattinson, in there. We got Denzel Washington's kid kicking it up in there. And it all looks really good, and we're excited. Now, as of right now, officially, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Rob, officially, Tenet has not moved its release date. It is still officially set for July. But I don't think you need to be a rocket scientist to know that at some point they're going to move this movie. It's going to move off July, because even if the movie theaters do open at that time, it's going to be too early for them to try to mount up a big, massive marketing campaign, get everybody back into the theaters again. It's going to take a little bit of a rollout time, I think, and that's if the theaters are open again in July, as, the theaters seem to think they might be. Even then, it'll take some time. So the question then becomes, where do you move this movie to? Do you push it off just a little bit, like we hope so, and say put it in a November? Do you push it off a lot more and put it into something like February, March, April of 2021, something none of us want to see? I mean, maybe they have to, but none of us want to see. Of course, we would all love to see them keep it relatively close. Move it to November. Okay, great. But that poses a problem. Rob, we talked about this the other day, that November is already getting a little bit cozy. We got the Pixar film Soul. We got Black Widow. We got Godzilla King of the Monsters, or Godzilla versus Kong. We've got, what was the other one that just moved there? James Bond, No Time to Die. All opening in November. Now, Rob, we talked yesterday about the fact that, hey, you know what? We kind of feel that considering the movie going will just be ramping back up again, people are going to be hungry to be in the theaters. We kind of felt comfortable that all those movies can still do well in a month of November, even with all those other ones. Okay. What if we push our luck even more and try to squeeze in a Christopher Nolan Tenet into November? Then it changes the dynamic a little bit. So let me ask you this, Rob. You're the head of Warner Brothers. You got to move this thing. You've already started a marketing campaign, so you don't want to push this thing off too much. But do you push this thing out in November and December, or do you push it off further into 2021? What would you do, and what do you think is the most likely thing to happen?
Well, I mean, this is one of my most eagerly awaited films of the year, certainly. I think maybe you save it. This is such, I think, an eagerly awaited movie, and it's Christopher Nolan. I mean, the guy makes his art film Dunkirk, and even that was a huge success for Warner Brothers. This is a crown jewel in their release slate, and I think that you give it a wide berth, and throwing it into November now when everyone's already staked a claim. I mean, I don't know what you do with this, because 2021's filling up too. I think maybe you move it far enough into the future that you can really plant a flag and say, nope, maybe it gets delayed a year. Or not.
I'm gonna tell you what, and maybe it's just being overly optimistic and overly hopeful of me. I think you can put this in November. I really do. I think, because it's a very different kind of film from a lot of the other ones that we're talking about in November. Plus, when we get into December, we often talk about 4 or 5 huge movies opening on the same week, let alone in the same month. And I think, and like part of this is just the fanboy in me that I want Tenet now. Yes, part of that is just the little fanboy in me now. But I really do think you could do this in November. I'm not saying they will, but I really think they could do it in November. But Rob, here's the question we haven't asked yet. I think I know what both of us are going to say here, but here's the question we haven't asked yet. Is there any chance, Warner Brothers hasn't announced a change of date yet. Do you think there's any chance that Warner Brothers just digs in their heels and say, nope, we've planted our flag. We're going to release in July, come hell or high water. I mean, obviously not if the theaters aren't open, but I mean, do you think there's any chance they actually open in July? I say no. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I think you can't open a movie like this in July, even if, like we've talked about the marketing of this film, it would have to start now. You know, we're halfway into April, and I think people have I forgot that I saw that great opening for Tenet. You know, you need time. You need time to build up the hype. I mean, we're in the movie pundit space. The general public doesn't know this movie's coming out. They don't know. You don't even know what Tenet means. So it's like you need time to. We've seen some really interesting visuals, cars moving forward in time while others seemingly are moving backward in the same shot. I mean, there's some really innovative effects technology happening in this movie, and they want to ramp this stuff up. Also, another thing is, this is the kind of movie that they would put in advertising and marketing in sporting events.
Yeah.
You know, this is like and we don't have any of that. And it's like all of these outlets that movies of this ilk would be marketed to or marketed from don't exist right now. So it's not just putting movie ads directed to moviegoers who are going to go see this movie anyway, like us opening weekend. It's also the people that don't traditionally go to movies, 10 times a year, but go to 1 or 2 movies a year. They want people, I mean, the football crowd, the baseball crowd, the basketball crowd, people that love sports, NASCAR, whatever, all of those people are going to want to go see this movie. And they don't have any of that. They have no way to market to that audience. And that's something else that we just don't have now. So it's not just movies, it's everything else that the public goes to. And it's everything else that your potential audience is gathered together to see a trailer. I mean, that's why they put movie trailers in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, the question here is, guys, for you. What do you think? Do you think Nolan, first of all, Nolan's film Tenet will probably bump it. Maybe you don't think it will, but if it does bump, let's assume it's going to. Do you keep it in 2020 or do you push it into 2021? What do you think is going to happen? Jump down in the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.